Welcome to the full Minecraft Redstone guide, telling you everything you need to know on every single component in the game, starting with redstone dust. Redstone dust can be found in the overworld on Y level 14 and below in the form of redstone ore. The farther down you go, the more you'll find. It's also possible to find redstone dust naturally in jungle temples, woodland mansions, ancient cities, or in chests of certain structures. Redstone dust is used primarily to connect redstone circuits together or as a part of the circuitry itself. It can be powered and unpowered up to level 15, decreasing every single block it travels, after which you need to use a redstone repeater. The redstone repeater can be crafted using 3 stone, 1 redstone dust and 2 redstone torches. It can be used to extend or delay redstone signals. Redstone dust can travel 15 blocks, after which a repeater can extend it by another 15. This adds a tick or a tenth of a second delay. You can, however, change the delay by right-clicking on the repeater, which can increase the delay to up to 4 ticks or 4/10 of a second. If you run a repeater into the side of another repeater, you will lock the other repeater, making it permanently powered or unpowered. You can also lock a repeater with a redstone comparator. The redstone comparator can be crafted using 3 stone, 3 redstone torches and 1 nether quartz. It can be used to output redstone signals depending on the input it gets. It reads the input on the back and transmits it to the front if the highest input on the side is lower or equal to the input on the back. It can also read the content of a container like a chest or a crafter. When you right click the redstone comparator, a redstone torch turns on and is now set to subtract mode, which will take the input from the back and subtract the inputs from both sides to calculate the output. If you want to know which state the comparator is in, just look at the redstone torch in front. The redstone torch can be crafted using a stick and a redstone dust. It's used primarily to invert signals, as the redstone torch turns off when it's powered and on when it's not powered. It can also be used to tower up really easily to craft other redstone components, or as a torch burner. The redstone torch can power the block above it for level 15, making the redstone active, but that then powers the torch, which turns it off. If this happens more than 8 times within 3 seconds, it'll turn off, which makes it really easy to count to 8. This is useful when using, for example, a dropper. The dropper can be crafted using 7 cobblestone and 1 redstone dust. Its primary use is to spit out items to the world or to another container. It does this when it receives a redstone signal. A dropper can be butt powered, meaning that it has states where it thinks it's powered when it's not. A redstone comparator can read the content of a dropper, and it looks very similar to the dispenser. The dispenser can be crafted using 7 cobblestone, 1 redstone dust and a bow. The bow can be damaged, enchanted or both. Like with the dropper, its primary use is to spit out items into the world. However, the dispenser will shoot projectiles like arrows and snowballs. It also summons mobs when using the spawn egg, or places shulker boxes when they're inside of the dispenser. They also cannot put items into other containers. A dispenser can be butt powered. A redstone comparator can read the content of a dispenser. Powered states of the droppers and dispensers can be seen by an observer. The observer can be crafted using 6 cobblestone, 2 redstone dust and 1 nether quartz. It can be used to detect changes in the world known as block updates. When a block update happens in front of the observer, it will emit a redstone signal of 15 and a length of 1 tick. It can power redstone through blocks, and it's very useful for creating circuits with pistons. The piston can be crafted using 4 cobblestone, 3 wooden planks, 1 redstone dust and 1 iron ingot. It can be used to push blocks forward up to a maximum of 12 blocks. There are also some blocks that cannot be pushed by a piston, like barrier, beacon, bedrock, conduit, command block, growing obsidian, enchanted table, end gateway, end portal frame, ender chest, grindstone, jigsaw block, jukebox, light, lodestone, moving piston, nether portal, obsidian, extended piston, piston head, reinforced deep slate, respawn anchor, skulk catalyst, skulk sensor, skulk shrieker, spawner, structure block and the bedrock structure void. All blocks that can be pushed on bedrock edition but not on Java edition, like barrel, beehive, bee nest, blast furnace, brewing stand, chest, daylight detector, dispenser, dropper, furnace, hopper, lectern, smoker, trap chest, large chest, bell, candle, lantern and soul lantern. And there's also blocks that will break when being pushed by a piston, like amethyst cluster, bamboo, bed, budding amethyst, button, cactus, cake, carved pumpkin, cave vines, coarse flower, coarse plant, cobweb, cocoa beans, dead bush, door, dragon egg, fire, flower pot, flower, flux spawn, grass, head, item frame, jack-o'-lantern, ladder, lava, leaves, lever, lily pad, melon, melon stem, moss block, moss carpet, mushroom, netherwort, painting, pointed dripstone, pressure plate, pumpkin, pumpkin stem, redstone comparator, redstone dust, redstone repeater, redstone torch, sapling, scaffolding, skulk vein, sea pickle, sugar box, snow, sugarcane, torch, tripwire hook, turtle egg, twisting vines, water, weeping vines, weighted pressure plate, weeds, and the Java structure void. A piston can be butt powered, which will occur when the piston has a powered block 2 blocks above it or diagonally above it. It will think it's still powered until it receives a block update next to it. This can be really useful in contraptions, but also might be annoying sometimes, as seen with the sticky piston. The sticky piston can be crafted using a piston and a slime ball. Like the piston, it can push up to 12 blocks, but in addition, the sticky piston can also pull the blocks back, again, up to 12 blocks. It can be butt powered, which is used a lot in piston doors. Of course, a lot of doors also use slime blocks. The slime block can be crafted with 9 slime balls, which are dropped from slime. When pushing or pulling a slime block, it will stick to the blocks around it, taking them with. A slime block can be used to launch entities into the distance when using the right timing. This does not work with a honey block. The honey block can be crafted using 4 honey bottles, which can be harvested from bees' nests. Like the slime block, when it's pulled or pushed, it will take the 4 blocks around it with. A honey block does not stick to a slime block or vice versa, meaning they stay in the same spot. They do stick to themselves though. A honey block can also be used to make mobs unable to jump or align items in a filter, since a honey block is less than a full block in size. Speaking of item filters, let's take a look at the hopper. The hopper can be crafted using a chest and 5 iron ingots. It's used to take items out of a container and put them into another container. You can decide the direction of the hopper. If the hopper is powered via redstone, it locks and will no longer pick up or distribute items. If there's a hopper below another hopper, every item will end up in the bottom hopper, which can then be put into a chest or a barrel. As of 1.19.4, a hopper can also interact with a jukebox. The jukebox can be crafted using 8 wood planks and 1 diamond. You can put music discs into the jukebox, which will power all blocks around it until the music disc is done playing. You can also put in music discs using a dropper or a hopper, and you can take them out when they're done with a hopper. If you use a redstone comparator on the jukebox while it's playing a song, the song determines what power output the comparator will give. An observer can also detect whether the jukebox is playing a song or not, and the texture of the jukebox looks very similar to another musical block in the game, which is the note block. The note block can be crafted using 8 wooden planks and 1 redstone dust. When you place it down and power it, it makes a sound based on the block below it. It has 24 different notes it can play that you can cycle through using the right mouse button. An observer can detect when the note block is powered or unpowered, which can be changed using a lever. The lever can be crafted using 1 cobblestone and 1 stick. It's used to power redstone components, and when you flick it, it turns on or off. It powers redstone dust with a power level of 15, and when you flick it again, it unpowers the redstone. It can also power a block, meaning that redstone components next to the block will appear in their powered states. You can also power a block with a pressure plate. The pressure plate comes in 3 variants. First, there's the stone pressure plate. It can be crafted using 2 stone. It will power any block around it to a power level of 15 when a mob walks over it. A black stone pressure plate acts the same way. Secondly, there's the wooden pressure plate. This one can be crafted using 2 wooden planks. It will power any block around it to a power level of 15 when an entity touches it. Not only mobs make this one react. Lastly, there's a weighted pressure plate. These can be crafted using 2 gold ingots or 2 iron ingots. With gold, you have the light weighted pressure plate, which emits a redstone signal equal to the amount of entities on the pressure plate. The iron pressure plate is the heavy weighted one, which emits a redstone signal equal to the amount of entities on the pressure plate divided by 10. And if you think about it, pressure plates are quite similar to buttons. The button has 2 variants. The stone button can be crafted using 1 stone and will power a block for 10 redstone ticks or 1 full second. The wooden button can be crafted using 1 wooden plank. Wooden buttons can be pressed by arrows or by the player, powering the block it's on for 15 redstone ticks, after which everything turns off. Except the copper bulb. The copper bulb can be crafted using 3 copper blocks, 1 redstone dust and 1 blaze rod. It can be waxed using honeycomb and has 4 different oxidation stages. When turned on, it will give off a different light level based on the oxidation state it's in. To turn on the copper bulb, you can power it You can read the powered state of the copper bulb with a redstone comparator, and it stays on until it's powered again, unlike the redstone lamp. The redstone lamp can be crafted using 1 glowstone and 4 redstone dust. When it's powered, it gives off a light level of 15 and turns off 2 ticks after it's unpowered. An observer can detect the redstone lamp turning on or off, and the redstone lamp is a solid block, meaning that it will power the blocks around it when directly powered by redstone. You can find it generating naturally in structures, and in the ancient city it's combined with the skulk sensor. The skulk sensor can't be crafted, but it can be found in a deep dark biome. It can also spawn in when a mob dies near its cold catalyst. The skulk sensor detects sound around it and emits a redstone signal based on the distance of the sound. The closer the sound, the higher the redstone output. You can block off certain directions with wool, and the sensor won't pick up sound from that direction anymore. The skulk sensor can also detect what kind of sound is being made when using a comparator. It will give off a certain signal strength based on which sound is made. If you want to filter which sound it listens to, you can use a calibrated skulk sensor. The calibrated skulk sensor can be crafted with the skulk sensor and 3 amethyst crystals. It can be used to listen to different vibrations like the skulk sensor, but when it receives a redstone's input on its amethyst side, it will only listen for sounds with that vibration, making it really easy to filter out someone walking for a chest opening, for example. And when combined with a block of amethyst, you can create a really easy chain of skulk sensors which travel really quickly, making it possible to power a redstone component from really far away. For example, a door. The door has 3 variants. The wooden door can be crafted with 6 planks and can be opened or closed by hand. This one can also be broken by zombies when in their closed state. The copper door is crafted using 6 copper blocks. It has 4 oxidation stages and can be opened by hand and be broken by zombies. The iron door can be crafted using 6 iron ingots and cannot be opened by hand or broken by a zombie. They all can be opened with a redstone signal and closed when they're no longer powered, just like its little brother, the trapdoor. The trapdoor has 3 variants. The wooden trapdoor can be crafted using 6 wooden planks and can be opened and closed by hand. The same goes for the copper trapdoor, which is crafted using 6 copper blocks instead. The iron trapdoor is crafted using 4 iron ingots and cannot be opened by hand. All of them will open when powered with redstone and will unpower when the redstone signal turns off, just like the fence gate. The fence gate can be crafted using 4 sticks and 2 planks. You can open it by hand or by using redstone. When it's unpowered, it's closed and you cannot walk through it, but when it's powered, it's open and has no hitbox, so you can fall right through it to the ground. Just like the big drip leaf. The big drip leaf cannot be crafted, but you can find it in the overworld in lush caves. When you bone meal a small or big drip leaf, more big drip leaf will form. If you stand on top of the big drip leaf, it tilts and you can fall through it. However, when you power the drip leaf, it won't tilt when a player stands on it. This only works when powering the drip leaf, not the stem, and projectiles still make it tilt. Speaking of projectiles, there's the target block. The target can be crafted using 1 hay bale and 4 redstone dust. When you hit the target block with a projectile, it will emit a redstone signal. The closer you are to the middle, the higher the power it outputs. You can also activate it by flying into it, and the target block is a solid block and the pulse it emits is a short pulse, like the one from a lightning rod. The lightning rod can be crafted using 3 copper ingots. When you place the lightning rod, it will attract lightning. When this happens, the lightning rod will power all redstone components next to it to a power level of 15 for a short period of time. It is also useful to protect mobs like villagers from lightning. And speaking of villagers, there's the lectern. The lectern can be crafted using a bookshelf and 4 wooden slabs. It can be the workstation for a librarian villager, or it can be used for redstone purposes. When you place a book on the lectern, a comparator on the back of the lectern will detect what page the book is on and emit a redstone signal. The lectern can also emit redstone itself. When flipping the page of a book, the lectern will emit a 1-tick pulse to both sides, no matter if you flip forward or backwards. Perhaps to another villager block, the bell. The bell cannot be crafted, but you can find it naturally in a village or in the chest of a ruined portal. You can also trade with armorers, toolsmiths or weaponsmiths to get more bells. When ringing the bell, all villagers in the area will go to their home beds and all raid mobs will glow briefly. You can also activate the bell with redstone. When powering the bell, it rings just like it would when ringing with your hand, causing the villagers and raid mobs to react, which makes a really unique sound, just like placing a book into a Chisel Bookshelf. A Chisel Bookshelf can be crafted using 6 planks and 3 slabs. You can use it to store books. It can also interact with a hopper. If you place the book yourself, you place it on the position where your mouse is facing. If you have a comparator at the back of the Chisel Bookshelf, it will emit a redstone signal equal to the slot number you last interacted with, meaning putting in a book or taking one out. You can also place books into a Chisel Bookshelves by crafting them with a crafter. The crafter can be crafted using a crafting table, a dropper, 2 redstone dust and 5 iron ingots. It can be used to craft almost every single item in the game. You can put the crafting recipe into the crafter, and when it receives a redstone input, it will craft one of the item of which it has the recipe inside of it. And a comparator can read the amount of filled slots, outputting a signal strength equal to the number of filled slots. Speaking of filled slots, there's more storage with the trap chest. When the trap chest is opened, it will emit a redstone signal and power the block below it. When it's closed, the redstone turns off. You can still use it like a normal chest, but also locking the hoppers behind it. The trap chest can be crafted using 1 chest and 1 tripwire hook. The tripwire hook can be crafted using 1 wooden plank, 1 stick and 1 iron ingot. When 2 tripwire hooks are tied to each other with a string in a straight line, any entity on the string will cause both tripwires to emit a redstone signal of 15 for a short period of time, which is used a lot in traps. Just like TNT. TNT can be crafted using 5 gunpowder and 4 sand. Its main use is to blow up the blocks around it. When the TNT is lit using flint and steel, a fire charge or redstone, it will ignite and take 4 seconds to blow up. It can blow up another block of TNT. To make the explosion instant and bigger, you can combine the TNT with a minecart. The base minecart can be crafted using 5 iron ingots. It can be used to transport players or mobs, or it can be combined with different items. Combining it with a furnace makes the furnace minecart. When you give it coal, it will accelerate forward and push other minecarts. Combining it with a chest gives a chest minecart, a minecart with 27 storage slots that you can interact with using hoppers. A hopper minecart will suck out items from above at an insane speed, but will not distribute the items down, so another hopper has to be used for that. And lastly, a TNT minecart will blow up when hitting a block or entity, causing a huge explosion. And all of the minecarts can travel on top of rails. The rail has 4 variants. The regular rail can be crafted using 6 iron ingots and 1 stick. It can be used to place minecarts on and is the only type that can make turns. The powered rail is crafted using 6 gold ingots, 1 stick and 1 redstone dust. It stops the minecart entirely, but when powered it speeds up the cart on top of it. The detector rail can be crafted using 6 iron ingots, 1 stone pressure plate and 1 redstone dust. When a minecart rides over it, it will emit a redstone signal to the blocks around it. If a chest minecart or hopper minecart rides the detector rail, you can read the content of the container with a comparator. Lastly, there's the activator rail. This is crafted using 6 iron ingots, 1 redstone torch and 2 sticks. When it's activated, it will eject all mobs from the minecart on top of it. This is usually seen together with redstone blocks. The redstone block can be crafted using 9 redstone dust. When it's placed, it acts like a powered block, making all redstone component around it powered. Pistons, droppers and dispensers also get butt powered by redstone blocks, meaning that you can't push them directly upward. When placing a redstone torch on a redstone block, you generate a 1-tick pulse, after which the redstone torch will be turned off forever. If you want something that's not always powered though, you can look at the daylight sensor. The daylight detector can be crafted using 3 glass, 3 nether quartz and 3 wooden slabs. When you place down a daylight detector, it will emit a redstone signal based on the time of day it is. The closer it is to noon, the higher the redstone output. When you right-click the daylight detector, it switches to night mode. It then checks for midnight instead of noon, and it only goes up to a power level of 12 instead of 15. And it turns on when the lights go out. Now I want you to play with redstone. You can create something like a piston door. You can submit yours in the comments or to my Discord server in the pinned comment below.